What's up, ladies and gents? Welcome back to Red Band Cast here on the Red Band Cast YouTube channel. As always, I'm Steve, and today we're going to start some reviews of Shout Factory / Scream Factory movies that I have sort of shown off in my Scream Factory collection a little bit earlier. And we're going to start off with probably my least favorite release they've done, Final Exam. Or at least I was going into it, kind of not impressed. And honestly, I kind of came out a little bit unimpressed again. I mentioned in the video earlier that I'm not a big fan of this movie. Now, I did find some positives rewatching it. I'm going to review both this movie and I'm going to review the release that it's on. So I'm going to start off with a few pros from the movie. Number one, I really do like the score. It's very sort of influenced by John Carpenter's score, very piano-heavy, synth-heavy, but not really crazy synth. Maybe a little bit more synth than, obviously the original Halloween. Not quite as much as Halloween 2, which would come out the same year as this, 1981. But Final Exam does sport a very, very memorable score, I think. At least the main theme is very memorable. I'm also a fan of the cinematography and lighting in this movie. There are a few shots that are very, very nice. There's some very good symmetrical shots, some good POV shots. I do like some of the lighting. They use reds and blues very effectively. There's one scene where they have some light streaming through some Venetian blinds that are very, very nice. I really like that image. They use some of the set design very well. That it really kind of helps you to understand what the characters are. They use some good scene design in there. Set design in there. Really adds to the sets. Unfortunately, that's kind of where the pros end for this movie. The editing's also alright, but I'm not I don't really notice editing that well, but I do notice that it's not bad, and that certainly is a good thing in here. A lot of the technical aspects of the movie are fine. The sort of behind-the-scenes stuff is pretty good. What I really have a problem with is, first off, the script. The characters are certainly memorable. That, I guess, is another plus. But they're not the kind of characters that I want to remember. I don't want to hang out with these characters. I don't like really any of these characters. And a lot of these characters, though there's a little bit of dialogue and plotting, which is supposed to sort of maybe have some subversive content that's a little bit, feminist. There's some woman empowering stuff in here. Though that's there, I'm not really a fan of it because it's just sort of there ephemerally and then it kind of leaves. I don't like that. I like a theme to be developed throughout the movie. And that's why there's not a lot of deep stuff to talk about this movie, which I'd normally like to do. So there's not a lot of deep stuff in Final Exam. It's a very surface level slasher movie that really wants to be more, but it isn't. And I really dislike that more than it just being kind of what it says. A movie like Don't Go in the Woods Alone is a good example of one that, you know what you're gonna get. It's a slasher movie in the woods. You shouldn't go in there alone, and that's the only message that the movie has. Final Exam tries to have a message at one point and then kind of just drops that. The characters, as I said, I'm not a fan. They're memorable, but I don't want to remember them. I really dislike Wildman. I think that Wildman's character is borderline mentally retarded. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I'm just saying that the guy clearly has some problems, but they don't want to address it. That's just my opinion. He's also a jerk, which really doesn't help me liking him. He does have the best kill in the movie, which is a good segue into the kills. I like two kills. One with Wildman where he gets strangled to death and beaten up by the killer. That's also a good scene for the shooting. I liked the lighting and the use of cinematography in that scene. I really thought that was probably the best scene in the whole movie. and it was fitting into a really bad character. I will say that I was happy that he was off screen. Besides that, there's not a lot of really good kills in the movie. There's no graphic kills. There's almost no blood. And that just doesn't feel like what this movie should be going for. That's just my opinion. And they're not scary, good, well-done kills like Halloween that aren't necessarily graphic, but they work, you know. It's not that type of kill. But yeah, that's basically all I can say about the kills. Back to the characters, you know, Radish is somebody that everybody seems to like. I don't get it. He's like a really bad version of Randy from Scream, which I guess, I mean, obviously he's proto-Randy. He's before Randy existed. But he's not as good as Randy. And he's annoying. I don't like the acting behind him. I don't really like his character. He's not intriguing to me. I'm not a fan. The final girl is very sort of blasé, but she is also probably the best actor in the movie. I do like that. The movie's got a relatively good, you know, suspenseful opening, but there's not a whole lot there after that. Yeah. A lot of the plot is very forgettable. I couldn't have told you anything about the plot of this movie without watching it again. Anything else I can say about it? Not very well written. I don't like the killer. The killer's not up to par. He's kind of like Michael Myers, which I do like, but he has no personality to him. He's not wearing a mask. He's just a dude walking around. You never understand what he's doing. I like the fact that he has no motive, but that doesn't seem to work for him. It works for a guy like Michael Myers that is built up to be a force of nature, but this guy is just a guy, and I don't think it really works. Final Exam, overall, I can't recommend it to you. Not very good for kills. I really dislike the fact that it has nudity in it. It's only there very quickly, which is a lot better than a lot of slasher movies, but that just adds to the fact that I don't really like this movie. There's no really good content that you can get from this movie, except maybe, like I said, the cinematography, the score, the lighting, the editing. That's about it. I'm not a fan of Final Exam. I can't really recommend that you go out and watch it. And as far as the Blu-ray release goes, reviewing just the release itself, this sports a new high-definition transfer, but it really feels like a DVD transfer for most of the movie. The night scenes is kind of where this shines. There's some good contrast from black and the colors. The lighting is good, and, you know, I like how this transfer really brings out the gel lighting. There's an audio commentary with the cast members Joel Rice, Cecile Baghdadi, and Sherry Willis Birch, along with a couple of mega fans of the movie. This is a relatively uninformative audio track. I'm not a fan of it. There are people just gushing about this movie. And, you know, I understand fans like their movies, but it's a little much for me on here. Just falling in love with the Radish character, I can't get it through my head. There are interviews with cast members Joel Rice, Cecile Baghdadi, and Sherry Willis Birch. These are each about like under 5 minutes long. It also has a theatrical trailer, which I like the trailer. I think it does have a pretty good trailer. But as far as the interviews, they're more informative than most of the commentary, and I don't know. It's very short. It is somewhat informative. Each of them are somewhat informative, but they're short. Very shoddily done, in my opinion. Not very well edited. There's not a lot of good video quality to them. They're in sort of full screen. They look very old. The special features do. There's even a point at which somebody working on the special features just sort of coughs, and it makes it into the original soundtrack of the movie. I mean, not the movie, but the feature. And I don't know. very unprofessional, I think. This is not Michael Felcher quality, as I would call it. You know, Michael Felcher is a great filmmaker who he's great on special features. Fantastic. You can't get better than the guy. He's fantastic at making these special features. Whoever made these is not Michael Felcher, and I don't want to insult them. I'm just saying that, you know, a little bit more effort would have been appreciated. That's basically it for this release. For the movie, I'm going to give this a solid 1.5 out of 5 stars. Not a fan. Not very good. Cinematography's good. Score is good. There's just a little bit of good acting. Not a whole lot of good writing. Lighting is good. But besides that, there's not a whole lot to this. Not a very good transfer on the Blu-ray. Not a very good amount of special features, nor are the quality of the few features that are here. It's not really up to quality. The theatrical trailer is pretty good. Besides that, I can't say much more for the release, so I'm going to give the release out of 5 stars, also a 1.5. Not a fan of this one, but, you know, I'm going to keep it in the collection just for some of the images that are in the movie. Like I said, there's pretty good cinematography, but acting and writing and directing overall, not a fan. So that's basically what I can say about Final Exam. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. I'll be back with another video soon. Rock on. If you like, subscribe. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.